If you think your cat loves you unconditionally just because it sleeps in your house, rubs against your legs, or occasionally sits beside you, you might be missing something far more unsettling hiding inside their behavior. Because here's the truth most cat owners never hear. Not every cat that lives with you actually feels safe with you. And the signs are not loud. They are silent, subtle, almost invisible unless you know what to look for. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. What if I told you your cat has been communicating its emotional distance from you every single day through how it looks at you, where it sleeps, and even how it blinks, and you simply didn't notice? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might realize your cat has been telling you the truth all along, just not in human language. Most people think cats are naturally distant, independent creatures who don't form deep emotional bonds like dogs do, but that's not true. Cats absolutely bond, deeply, intelligently, emotionally. But when that bond is broken or never formed properly, they don't complain. They withdraw, quietly, and that's where the real mystery begins. Sign 1. They avoid your gaze or never give you the slow blink. In the world of cats, eye contact is not just vision, it is language. A slow blink is a handshake, a silent "I trust you." But if your cat consistently looks away when you try to connect, or keeps its eyes wide, alert and unsoftened, it may not feel safe enough to lower its emotional defenses around you. Even more revealing is the stare that never softens. A relaxed cat has what behaviorists call a trust gaze, half-closed eyelids, slow rhythmic blinking, almost sleepy in its softness. But a cat that keeps its eyes fully open around you is not calm, it is monitoring, watching, measuring distance. And sometimes when a cat stares at you without blinking at all, it is not affection, it is tension, a silent assessment of unpredictability. And here's where it gets interesting, because most owners confuse this intense staring with love. It's not always love, sometimes it's uncertainty. If this is making you look at your cat differently already, take a second and hit like and subscribe, because what comes next will completely change how you interpret your cat's body language forever. Sign 2. They never greet you anymore, or stop their social stretch. When a cat feels emotionally bonded, it develops rituals. Greeting at the door, stretching in front of you, slow approaches with relaxed tails. These are not random behaviors, they are chosen communication. But when a cat stops doing them, it is not being lazy. It is often because the emotional reward disappeared. Either they learned you don't respond to their signals, or they no longer feel excited or safe enough to initiate contact. Cats are incredibly pattern-driven. If their attempts to connect are ignored, misread, or interrupted, they stop trying. And that silence can feel like indifference, but underneath it, it is often disappointment. Sign 3. The way they sleep tells you everything. This one is subtle, but powerful. A cat that trusts you will choose vulnerability, belly exposure, loose limbs, deep sleep in open areas. But a cat that feels uncertain will always choose escape routes, hidden corners, under beds, high shelves, places where it can disappear instantly. Now here's the psychological layer most people miss. Sleep is not just rest for a cat, it is surrender. So where they choose to sleep is actually where they choose to lower their guard. If your cat avoids sleeping near you, or constantly positions itself far away even when you are home, it is not just preference, it is distance. Emotional and psychological. And sometimes, even when they are in the same room, their body faces away, angled toward exits, always aware, always ready. Now here's the pattern interrupt. Not all distance means hate. Sometimes it means fear. Sometimes it means overstimulation. And sometimes it means they never learned how to trust properly in the first place. And what happens next is even more important, because the next signs reveal what your cat does when it is overwhelmed by your presence in ways most owners completely misunderstand. Now before we go deeper, just know this is where everything starts to get uncomfortable, but also eye-opening. Because your cat might not be rejecting you at all, it might just be speaking a language you were never taught to read. And in the next part, we'll uncover the remaining signs, including the ones hidden in their pupils, their sudden aggression during petting, and the silent stress behaviors that most owners mistake for personality. Sign 4. The eyes are no longer soft, they are strategic. When a cat feels safe, its eyes communicate ease. Half-closed lids, slow blinks, relaxed focus. But when something shifts internally, the eyes change first. Dilated pupils in normal light are one of the most misunderstood signals in cats. Many owners think it means excitement or playfulness, but in emotional terms, it can also mean heightened arousal, uncertainty, or even low-level fear. And here's where it gets more intense. When your cat stares at you with fully dilated pupils without breaking eye contact, it is not admiring you, it is processing you, measuring your movement, predicting your next action. This is predator focus, a survival state hidden inside a domestic body. And sometimes, that stare feels almost too intelligent, too still, too aware, as if your cat is not in the room with you, but observing the room through you. Now combine that with another subtle sign, the unblinking stare. No slow blink, no softening, just stillness. This is where emotional distance becomes psychological tension, and most owners miss it because they assume eye contact always equals connection. But in the cat world, it depends entirely on how that eye contact feels. Sign 5. Sudden biting during petting. The moment everything seems fine, and then changes instantly. This is not randomness. This is communication at its breaking point. Cats have a neurological threshold for stimulation. Every stroke adds sensory input until the nervous system reaches overload. Before the bite, there are always warnings. A flicking tail, a slight skin ripple, ears rotating backward, muscles tightening. But humans miss these signals because they look small, insignificant, until the bite happens, and then it feels like betrayal. But from the cat's perspective, it is the final sentence after many ignored words. It is not aggression without reason. It is the last available language when subtle communication failed. And here's the deeper emotional truth. A cat that bites you during affection is not rejecting love entirely. It is saying you are not listening to me in smaller ways. If you are still watching this, you are starting to see your cat differently now, and that shift matters more than you realize. Sign 6. The silent stress behaviors that look like calmness, but are actually emotional withdrawal. Over-grooming, excessive sleeping, low interaction, disappearing for long hours. Many owners interpret this as a chill personality, but sometimes it is the opposite. It is emotional shutdown. Cats do not always externalize stress. Instead, they internalize it into repetitive behaviors. Over-grooming becomes self-soothing. Isolation becomes control. Sleeping all day becomes avoidance. And what makes this especially dangerous is that it does not look like suffering, it looks like peace. But inside, the cat may be mentally overstimulated or emotionally underconnected, especially when daily interactive play is missing. Without hunting simulation, without engagement, without predictable bonding routines, a cat slowly disconnects from its environment, including you. Sign 7, the most important one, when everything suddenly changes. When a cat that once followed you, slept near you, or stared at you with soft recognition, suddenly stops. This is the moment most owners regret ignoring, because cats do not break patterns without reason. If a bonded behavior disappears, something has shifted. It could be physical pain, illness, environmental stress, or emotional rupture caused by a change in household energy. And here's the final warning. Cats instinctively hide discomfort. So when they withdraw from you, they are not being dramatic. They are protecting themselves. A cat that stops engaging is not becoming independent, it is becoming distant. And sometimes that distance is reversible, but only if you notice early enough. Because once emotional withdrawal becomes routine, rebuilding trust takes time, patience, and silence more than action. And now the truth you were building toward this entire time, your cat has never stopped communicating with you. Not once. Through its eyes, its sleep, its aggression, its distance, its silence, it has always been speaking. The question is never whether your cat loves you or not. The real question is, did you ever learn how to listen in its language? And if this made you look at your cat just a little differently, then maybe, from this moment on, you will start seeing what was always there, quietly waiting for you to notice. S.